Tubaniriza ku Highfield Think Tank TV Kasoma Farouk of Uganda. Leero tugenda kulaba lwaki Korea yali divided into two, South Korea ne North Korea. Tugamba the division of Korea wasn't inevitable, but it became very likely once several geopolitical forces collided at the end of World War II. Tugamba oluvannyuma lwa ssematalo ow'okubiri kyali kirabika bulabise nti mbutuufu Korea yalina okuba divided into two. Naye ensonga ki ezaleetera Korea to be divided into two? Tugamba the collapse of Japanese rule. Tugamba Korea had been under Japanese colonial control since 1910. Korea yali under Japanese colonial control since 1910. Ne Japan were surrendering in 1945. There was no agreed plan among the allies for Korea's future. So the sudden power vacuum made external intervention almost unavoidable. Tugamba collapse of Japanese rule. Japan were malo collapsing era ne surrendering mu 1945 its rule. Kiba kitegeeza by this time ba allies balina okufuna future plan eya Korea naye teyali nambulukufu bulungi. So tugamba the sudden power vacuum made external intervention almost unavoidable. Kino ne kireetera Korea to be divided into two. Ekirala superpower rivalry, USA versus USSR. Tugamba the most decisive factor was the emerging Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. Olwokuba United States ne Soviet Union buli emu yalina ideology yaayo, tukimanyi United States yali believing in capitalism ate USSR yali believing in communism. Soviet troops occupied the north of Korea. Tulaba amajiga Soviet Union ga occupying north of Korea. American forces occupied the south. So tugamba kino ne kireetera in future Korea to be divided into two. Nga side emu ewagira capitalism, nga side emu ewagira communism. South Korea agenda ku capitalism, North Korea negenda ku communism. Ekirala the failure of joint trusteeship plans. Tugamba at what time discussions ezaali e Yalta conference allied leaders ba proposing a temporary trusteeship to prepare Korea for independence. But by this they agreed on how this should work. So tugamba mutual suspicion prevented cooperation, leading to separate administrations. Olwokuba balema okuteekawo embeera entuufu gye baali bategese mu Yalta conference okubeera nga bateekawo temporary trusteeship to prepare Korea for independence, kino kyaleetera Korea in future to be divided into two. Ekirala ideological differences. Tulaba the two occupying powers promoted different political systems. Soviet Union ya supporting a communism in the north. At the United States ne supporting a capitalism in the south. So these competing ideologies made a unified government difficult to achieve. Olwokuba bali divided into capitalism ne communism, kino kya making a unified government okubeera enzibu, kyovola ba Korea yali divided into two. Ekirala the rise of local leadership rivalries. Tulaba different Korean leaders emerged in each zone. Kim Il-sung in the north backed by USSR. Tulaba Kim Il-sung yali backed by USSR in the north. Then Syngman in the south yali backed by US. Each claimed to unify Korea under their own system, deepening division. Olwokuba buli omu yalina side gy'abilivingiramu, kino kya deepeninga division ne kireeta Korea to be divided into two. Ekirala formation of separate governments. Tugamba the South established the Republic of Korea, the North established the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. So tugamba, the formation of separate governments yaletera Korea to be divided into two. Olwokuba by this time the South by establishing the Republic of Korea, ataba North ne by establishing the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, kino kyaleeta Korea to be divided into two. Ekirala breakdown into conflict. Olwokuba already waliwo conflict between South Korea ne North Korea, zino conflicts nga zaali in terms of ideologies, kino kyaleetera conflicts ey'amaanyi era ne kireetera Korea to be divided into two. So tugamba Korea was divided mainly due to the combination of post-war power vacuum, Cold War rivalry, ideological conflict, and failed international cooperation. What began as a temporary arrangement became permanent because neither side was willing to compromise on Korea's political future. Tulaba USSR yali eyagala communism, USA ngeyagala capitalism, so neba ending up nga North Korea etute communism, South Korea etute capitalism. Yeyo engeli lwaki tugamba Korea yali divided into two. Osobola tugoberera tujja genda maaso with deep analysis, more topics ku YouTube, TikTok ne Facebook.